is mourning over here because he just found out.
Whoa, no.
That
See,
Hooters is in bankruptcy.
You see things that I say, wow, look what I just saw on Twitter, and now this gets thrown as Ray's upset. I have not stepped foot in one.
We're right about to come on the air, and he's signaling to me, yo, Hooters is in bankruptcy. He's so upset over here, Ray.
Oh, Ray, are your words getting twisted?
Let's
like how you twist my words on the weekend all the time?
Okay, Sean, please pipe down up there. Relax.
Okay.
Please. Look at the two people sitting right here. Tell me which one of the two of us has stepped in more in their lives.
I will say this. When I was in high school.
The wings are fantastic.
I swear, man. When I was in high school, me and my friends loved going to Hooters for the wings. Now, I have not been to Hooters in 15 years. I'm telling you, 15 years, maybe longer. But the wings were good because they bread them. They're like breaded wings. Anyway, Ray's very upset.
I haven't been, so I wouldn't know.
So bear with him. But I have something that's going to make Ray even more upset. So we're doing a lot of Eagles talk today. We will get back to it as we pretend to be Howie Roseman today. We will get back to our free agency planning with Howie. But we got to talk about the Sixers. So the Sixers come out of the All-Star break last night. There was still, I guess, a glimmer of hope, if you wanted to call it that they could play their way into the 10 seed, get into the play-in tournament. We outlined it yesterday on the show with Mikey Miss of a crazy way that they could actually get to the Eastern Conference Finals, although we were kind of being facetious.
No, they're going.
But they get crushed last night by the Boston Celtics. Joel Embiid looks like a shell of himself. Paul George doesn't look great. The whole team just looks terrible. And Joel Embiid, after the game last night, kind of admitted that there's something going on. Listen to Joel.
Joe, setting aside being healthy enough just to play, are there specific things that you feel like you can't do or don't trust your knee enough to do right now that you've relied on in the past?
I don't know. I'm sure you can figure it out. The way I was playing a year ago, it's not the way I'm playing right now, and it sucks. But I believe I just probably need, to fix the problem, and then I'll be back at that level. But it's hard to have the trust when you're not yourself. And I'm not as dominant as I was a couple months ago. But that doesn't mean I still can't have a lot of impact on the game. Just me being out there, I think, helps a lot. Just my presence, ability to track double teams, getting guys more shots. But my dominant self, I get that. No, it's just tough because you can do so much more, but when there's no excuses. It's just the way it is. Just gotta keep finding ways to figure it out and get better.
All right, so there's a lot in there. It's been a frustrating season, but what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to turn it over to Ray. Because Ray has been chomping at the bit. It's a shame Mikey Miss isn't here because I'm sure he would have gone on a rant with all of this too. But Ray, how do you feel after what you watched last night and what you just heard from Joel?
All right, we had the ultimate news dump the day of the Super Bowl where they play the Bucs and on ESPN they're like, yeah, Embiid thinks he needs another surgery. And that just got wiped away because the day after the Eagles win the Super Bowl, what are we going to sit here and debate with the merits of Joel Embiid having surgery? They're perfectly placed there for no one to talk about. ESPN broadcast, Embiid might need another surgery on his knee. Have you watched this team play? Have we watched this team now enough to know what this team is this season? Paul George said he's getting 5 injections to play a game. He's got the pinky injury. He scored 2 points in the game without Embiid max the day before the All-Star game. Embiid is saying at this point, I need a fix. I need to be fixed. I can only assume that's going back and him not being directly saying that ESPN report is pretty much on point. What are they throwing away the future for to chase this season? If Embiid thinks he can still get back to being that dominant player, but right now he's not that dominant player, right now he's not feeling like he's that dominant player and needs the fix, is his presence right now going to be the difference that gets this team from a 10 seed? Like, we do this thing all the time in sports media. Well, if he's available at 80%, is that good enough for you? 75%. We love to percentage people's injuries right now. 100% of this Sixers season has sucked. It's been horrible. It's been a horrible product to engage with. They are going to risk the future of this guy who clearly believes he needs his knee to be fixed. To what? Chase a 10 seed? Chase a 9 seed? The ultimate disaster scenario that I keep putting into my head, which might not happen because the Pistons are actually playing well enough where it might not happen, is they fight all the way to get in the play-in and Tobias Harris ends their season. It's not that illogical to believe that's a possibility this goes down. They are fighting to get into a play-in so that they don't end up with their first-round pick, so they end up just pushing off Embiid needing to get fixed, Paul George needing to get fixed, just so they could say that this season wasn't a failure. We've watched it. It's been a failure. If Embiid needs to be fixed, why are we sitting here wasting away night after night watching a clearly not right Embiid go out there? It's unbelievable that we're continuing to subject yourself to it, because what are you trying to prove? That right now we know what they are out there. He doesn't look like himself. He hasn't looked like himself for a while now. If there's a chance he believes he can get back to being dominant, this whole sitting it out, trying to figure it out, trying to make things happen, that's not the way to do this. This season's not worth it. At this point, this season's not worth it.
I have not seen you this worked up since when Mike Missanelli accused you of not getting into Penn State and choosing Temple over it.
Which also is ridiculous. I showed him the admissions thing.
But listen, you're spot on, right? That's why I'm just letting you go. There becomes a point where you just cut your losses and move on. And I guess I could understand a few weeks ago Daryl Morey and Josh Harris and the Sixers powers to be whatever, holding out hope and not wanting to admit that the season was a failure, that the moves that they made in the offseason were a failure. Now, I thought the first step was when they traded Caleb Martin. Okay, you admitted that was a mistake. Paul George looks terrible, and you're right. They should not have given Joel Embiid that contract extension, but they did.
Oh, that's not what I said. I didn't say any of that.
I mean, you're right that the season is kind of being washed. I personally don't think they should have given him the extension, but they did. So at this point, why are they risking his future? He's under contract here. There's nothing they're going to be able to do with it. This team's not doing anything. Even if they somehow work their way into the 10 spot. We've talked about this, Ray. We talked about it yesterday. If they get into the 10, and even if somehow they get past Atlanta and then Orlando in one game in the play-in, they're not beating Cleveland in a 7-game series. So, what are we even pushing for? Do the Sixers think that the fan base will somehow be like, well, at least they went for it?
No. At least they went for what? The whole joke yesterday was, oh, yeah, we built out this path where they get to the conference finals, because that's at this point where people are aspiring to just get past the second round. Right now, the aspiration is to get in position to get into the play-in. They're not in the play-in. Daryl Morey says you have to squint to see our championship odds. No, I have to close my eyes and fall asleep, because dreaming is the only thing I have right now that could give me the idea of a Sixers championship. It's not realistic this season, and you're continuing to throw away Embiid's future by forcing him to play in the present. Okay, maybe it doesn't get better. Maybe it really, this is now really how deep down the dark path of thought I am with this organization, where they're at. I know a lot of people you're just getting here now? I've been here for years. Well, yeah, you probably hate Joel Embiid, so that's why you've been there for years. But there has finally been the thought process in my head, yeah, maybe it won't get better for him. Maybe it doesn't end up getting better. But if there's a thought process in his brain that if he gets knee surgery, like it was reported on ESPN the day of the Super Bowl that none of us talked about because it was so perfectly news dumped into a broadcast the day of the Super Bowl, and he actually gets that surgery, and there's a chance for him to be ready for the start of next season, let's go with that, because you're not getting anything. There's no payoff for March and April of this season.
But the bigger problem here is if they do give up on the season, Ray, they got to get into the bottom 6 so they don't get their first-round draft pick. They could screw themselves by finishing.
This team stinks bad enough for that to happen.
Well, yeah, but that's why I think shut it down now. I don't need them stealing games here or there because you're forcing Joel and Paul George out on the court. But look, Neil Deaver hit it on the head in the YouTube chat. Ray is very upset because he has season tickets, and him and his friends are contemplating what they do with those season tickets.
We're a bunch of 20-somethings look for something to do during the week. This is not like a crazy, hefty financial investment for us. If we're thinking about getting rid of the tickets, that's bad for where this fan base is at.
But listen.
Sorry, I'll calm down. I'll be good by the next segment. I know I got animated. I don't usually get that upset. So
it's Friday.
This was me.
We want to go into the weekend in a good mood. So I'm done with the Sixers talk. Really, I'm done. I think Ray hit it on the head. There's nothing else to say. Shut things down. Shut down Joel Embiid. Try to get him healthy for next season. This season has been a disaster. It's over. Flush it, and we'll see you come October for 2025-2026 season. That's how I feel about it. But I want to go into the weekend in a good mood. So we're going to talk about the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. We're going to put our Howie Roseman hat on. We'll continue to take a look at what we would do. Now that we know who the offensive coordinator is, what we would do going forward in terms of free agency on both sides of the football. So keep it here. We'll get back to the Eagles talk coming up next.
Andrew Salciunas.
Hey everybody, it's Bill Colarulo. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel so you can engage during the show, and you're not going to want to miss all the content that we post. It's not only the live videos, it's videos after the fact. It's our shorts. It's all the content you want as a Philadelphia sports fan. Looking forward to connecting.